What's going on, everyone? Hopefully everyone is doing well and keeping cool if you're in the heat. It is time now for the Tuesday edition of the Climate Update for Tuesday, July 25th, 2023. That's right, we're almost approaching August pretty soon. And with that, we are in the peak heat of the summer. And that is really showing its face in two ways. We have two records to show you. First off, water temperatures in South Florida reached as high as 101 degrees Fahrenheit, according to preliminary data, which would set a world record if confirmed. This is from WFLA. BNO News tweeted this out. Manatee Bay, north of Key Largo, Florida. That's where it hit 101 degrees. And I believe that may be definitely would probably be a world record because I don't ever recall seeing a water temperature over 100 degrees before. Also, there is this in El Paso, Texas, from the El Paso National Weather Service. They say crunching 100-degree streak numbers. Here is a graph of El Paso's three longest 100-degree streaks. 1980 at 21 days, 1994 at 23 days, then you have this year, 2023, at 40 days and counting. They may still hit 100 degrees for several more days with no sign of an end in sight on the modeling. Let's take a look here at some current weather data. Taking a look at the satellite picture, we do see we have this system that is exiting the picture off the New England coast and northeast coast. It's still going to be around for a few more hours, but as we head into the nighttime, it should slowly start to clear out. Then we can see behind it, unfortunately, air quality is going to drop a little bit. Some wildfire smoke does come into play, and then we have this system that is over the North Plains, and I am really concerned about this system because, like I just said, look what's ahead of this. You do have energy from wildfire smoke, so I think we could see it quite the MCS evolve over the Great Lakes tomorrow. Will that make it all the way to the Mid-Atlantic coast? Hard to say. We'll talk about that in a moment. You also see we do have some quiet conditions in the southeast. Just some afternoon thunderstorm activity, which is normal for the summertime in Florida. Take a look at the National Hazards Map. The one thing you see a lot of is these widespread heat advisories, heat warnings, which are up for much of the plains. Then you do see that there is a severe thunderstorm watch up for the northeast corridor from about Virginia on up to almost near Massachusetts, and air quality alerts for the Great Lakes. Let's take a look now at the radar picture. Here's that system in the northeast, and there's the shower and thunderstorm activity in Florida, and the other system that we're watching coming out of the Dakotas, and then this guy, which is right here, Iowa and Missouri, providing some showers this afternoon. Four Corners region, there are some showers and downpours. Be mindful of that. Now let's take a look at the air quality values, and you see the air quality is the worst over the Great Lakes right now, and that is starting to spread into the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, and the East Coast overall has already been moderate to unhealthy category. And like I said, that wildfire smoke that's coming, it's going to be energy for severe thunderstorms over the next several days. The West Coast is not doing too bad, with exceptions to parts of California and Oregon. Taking a look at the Storm Prediction Center here, let's reverse this. Here we go. Taking a look at day one, you can see there's still a slight risk over portions of the Mid-Atlantic region and the Northeast, and we also have this slight risk that is up for portions of the Plains and Midwest. There is a small percentage chance of a tornado there. Again, never take this by face value. It could always end up stronger than expected, so be weather aware and be prepared. Wind and hail, though, are the biggest threats for today. Tomorrow we do have a more significant severe weather threat that is going to unfold over the Great Lakes. This is going to potentially be a mesoscale convective system known as an MCS, and they're stopping it at northwest Pennsylvania. I think it could potentially go further than that. We'll have to see how this plays out. There's 5% tornado probabilities across portions of Ohio, Indiana, and portions of Michigan. 30% chances of wind damage in that area, and hail probabilities are at 15%. Do I think this could get upgraded to a moderate risk? Too soon to say, but you know what? It wouldn't surprise me because that energy is going to be pretty strong. And then we do have another slight risk for the Northeast again on Thursday from portions of Virginia on up through to portions of Maine. For that slight risk, we do see 15% wind probabilities. We'll have to watch and see how this one unfolds. We'll probably have more on that area tomorrow, as we are more concerned at the moment about the MCS potential over the Great Lakes region. Taking a look here at the Weather Prediction Center, and let's go back to the day one. There is still that slight risk of flash flooding in the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. However, that is probably going to slowly wind down. There's still a few flash flood warnings ongoing, and you see there's a marginal risk in the Four Corners region and a marginal risk in the Northern Plains. Day two, there is a slight risk of flash flooding over portions of Michigan, which again, that's with that MCS that we're going to be watching tomorrow. And then you have a marginal risk in the Northeast on day three. I think that will probably get upgraded to a slight risk. We have to talk about the tropics. We have three yellow areas, code yellows as I like to call them. And these two right here, the western ones, not terribly concerned about. This one is a wave coming off of Africa that's going to reposition itself eventually down the line to near the Leeward Islands, north of the Leeward Islands, and northeast of Puerto Rico. And while there is, at this time, 20% chance of development, I don't think it's terribly concerning because there's still dry air and African dust that's in the atmosphere. So that is going to limit development, but it is something that we do have to talk about. Let's advance this to the 7-day outlook, and here it is again. It's something we have to talk about, so we'll keep an eye on it. The GFS has been developing it, but as we know with the GFS often develops systems and it never ends up materializing. Taking a look at satellite picture here, you can see not a lot of organized activity. If we take a look here, here's that wave that's coming off the African coast. We'll keep an eye on it for you. All right, taking a look at the RGM model, which just came in. This is the 18Z run, and I want to show this to you. Look what happens here over Michigan tomorrow afternoon. You can see a well-organized mesoscale convective system gets going, but look, it gets going beyond the enhanced risk and continues into New York State and northern Pennsylvania. I think it's possible, even with the loss of daytime heating tomorrow night, if this thing really gets organized, I think it's possible it could get going or keep going as far east as the Poconos, maybe even portions of Harrisburg. Oftentimes these convective systems track a little bit further south than what the models show. So even though it's not showing convection in central Pennsylvania, keep an eye on this. Albany, New York, I think you're at play tomorrow night. And then we have another threat which goes on Thursday. And you can see here, more showers and thunderstorms will evolve. And look at this. Potentially Friday night, another mesoscale convective system. Let's take a look at the 12ZGFS. I'm going to change this here, and I want to show you what happens over the weekend. You can see there will be shower and thunderstorm threats even in the weekend as this boundary will be stalled. It's eventually going to push south. It's going to take multiple days for it to do so. May not push south of the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic region until Sunday. And you can see here, 18Z Saturday, which is Saturday evening, it's still there. And then finally on Sunday, it does push south. Then we have this other system, which will be worth watching in the plains. That could eventually be another mesoscale convective threat somewhere in the Midwest or the Tennessee Valley early next week. So we'll have to watch how that unfolds. And yes, yet again, another shower threat in the Northeast, another shower and thunderstorm threat in the plains. And there could be several threats next week. And generally, believe it or not, it's actually going to be cooler in the Northeast next week. However, the Southwest and the South, it is going to continue to be very hot. And that's something we're going to have to continue to watch. And oh, look, here's the GFS. Yes, the GFS does develop that tropical system. And if we advance it, yes, it would hit the United States. But again, I'm not terribly concerned about this. The GFS loves to show these systems, and they never end up materializing. Alrighty, let's take a look at temperatures here. Here's the European. As you can see here on the European, look at this. The Southwest, it continues to be very hot, and the Northeast will be very hot as we head into tomorrow on into probably Saturday. The Mid-Atlantic, the East Coast, it is going to be very hot. The peak of the heat is going to be Thursday and Friday. Look at this. Widespread 90s up to 95 corridor. Even up into places like Portland, Maine, it could hit 90 degrees. Look at the plains. and the southwest. You're continuing to be very hot. Now, the European here on Thursday is showing El Paso, Texas may not hit 100. We'll see if that actually would happen, but I'm disagreeing with that. I think you'll probably still hit 100. And here we go again on Friday. Again, much of Pennsylvania, the Ohio Valley, all the way down to the Gulf Coast, Dallas, Texas, even Chicago. Very hot weather for you. Look at Arizona, Phoenix, above 110 degrees again. And finally, it will cool off after Saturday in the Northeast, but look at the South. The heat's going to continue to build, and I think at some point, that heat's going to come back north. Probably in the 8 to 14 day range, the heat will come back to the Northeast. But in the 6 to 10 day range, and you'll see this on the Climate Prediction Center, it's actually going to be cooler in the Northeast, but not in the South. You just can't catch a break in the South whatsoever. Let's take a look at precipitation. Pretty dry over Texas. Not much precipitation expected. Daily showers, thunderstorms in Florida. And if I had to guess, this could be underdone for places like the Mid-Atlantic, maybe Pennsylvania. It's probably correct for New York State, though. And taking a look in the northern plains, I'd say this is accurate. And the west coast, this is probably accurate as well, with showers and thunderstorms in the Four Corners region. All right, 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Look at this. Very hot in the south. That's going to continue. But after Saturday in the Northeast, it cools off. The Pacific Northwest is above average. California is slightly below average. And 8 to 14 days, it's still saying below average here in the Northeast. We'll have to see if that materializes. I think the southern portion of this, at least up to Pennsylvania, the heat could come back again. So we'll see. And the south, you see here, above average temperatures. That's just going to continue. There is no sign of relief. And the Pacific Northwest does get above average with slightly below average in California. Taking a look here at the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, you can see parts of the west are above average. The northeast will be slightly above average. We do have these troughs that are going to come in, and that's going to provide some shower and thunderstorm activity. Slightly below average across the Florida Panhandle, while near normal in southern portions of Florida. And as we go to 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook, from Oklahoma back into the Pacific Northwest, above average precipitation with near normal in between and slightly above average in the Northeast. That's something I think is going to continue, and near normal down in Florida. Alrighty, that does it for today's climate update. We will have another climate update again tomorrow, where we will have more on that MCS, which might already be underway. As that unfolds tomorrow, we'll probably do a short to give you a heads up on that. And we'll also have tomorrow the drought update. Thursdays, the U.S. Drought Monitor update. So we'll have that tomorrow. And of course, if there's any more records broken, we'll bring that to you as well. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel down below. If you know anyone who's interested in meteorology, weather, climate data, this is the place to be. Direct them this way and share this with your friends and family. Alrighty, thanks for watching. I'll see you all again tomorrow. Have a great evening, everyone, and stay cool.